Set up spinning. Good
And she
morning,
might even
folks.
sing during it too. She might even sing during
Now see, I'd be like D Nice. D Nice says nothing.
it. Just
Just
basically
wears that. He just wears that hat, looking like Mister
what's
Rogers.
for
No, not Mister Rogers. You know what I'm talking about with the monkey.
yeah, Mr. Smith.
Bill, Mister whatever his name was.
When Mr. Smith goes to Washington, had the big yellow hat on his head.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Him and the
I thought he looked
monkey.
like the guy from Houdini, but anyway, that's
Well, it is the Houdini hat too,
yeah.
which also looks like the hat that the dude had on with the monkey.
Right, right, right.
Jalil.
Yes.
Yeah, good morning, folks. It's the Power Hour coming to you every Monday through Friday. And oh, wow, it's the end of a very fast week. We
Right.
are here in our virtual studio. Sitting across from me is Bishop Dwayne David Royster. Royster!
And sitting across from me is the Reverend Dr. Mark Kelly Tyler.
And our DJ this morning on the wheels of steel, holding it down in the studio, is none other than Kawesa.
Kawesa.
Good morning.
Good morning. How are you today?
Doing well. Glad it is Friday, I will tell you. I am so glad.
I can understand that. I really do understand that. Really, really, really. How was your ride in today? How's that weather outside?
Oh, it was easy. It's an easy ride. You know what's weird though is that we had like I don't know if you all got it, but there was like a sudden, instant, heavy downpour of rain
Hmm.
yesterday. And I'm driving in Jersey and here in Philly. I know it rained out here, but you can hardly tell that it rained, which is interesting. Like I was expecting there to be like large puddles and pockets. On my route, I didn't see that. I'm not saying that you won't, come upon that as you're driving.
Right.
So I just say be careful. It's a little cooler
Mm.
today, but not that cool. So maybe just a light jacket. I think, you'll be okay. But yeah, not too bad. Not too bad this
I'm
morning.
assuming it's not as muggy today either.
No, it's not. It's a nice, smooth, like clear. You could take a nice deep breath and not feel like you're inhaling like water. So
There's no
Wow.
soup out there today.
no,
That's
no
for
soup.
thanks. I appreciate you, Kawesa. Thank you so much. That's weather and traffic by Kawesa.
On the 8th.
Yes.
Well, today was on the 8th. Who knows where to be tomorrow?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Oh boy. Listen, folks, this morning, love for you to participate in the show. I assume if you are listening from one of the places that we broadcast from, 900 AM, 96.1 FM, wordradio.com, and that's WURD. You can also check us out at YouTube Live or Facebook Live. And when you go online in the social media places, hit the share button, bring others in, don't be ashamed, and let people know what you're listening to this morning. In fact, I see folk already tuning in on Facebook Live this morning. So, well, man, we got a Friday show for you.
Oh, Lord.
So, first of all, before we get started, how was the Power Political Forum last night? Power is the sponsor of this program.
Yeah, it was really great. Big shout out to Kendra Cochran, our political director, and Rabbi Mordecai Liebling, our interim director of organizing, who were really the main two driving toward doing these political education symposiums. We had about 100 people that joined us last night. Shout out to Tamika Moreland, who listens to our morning show, that actually was there last night as well. And
Nice.
because she shouted me, she hit me in the chat box on the Zoom to let me know that she listens to the show in the morning. So not sure if she's listening right now, but to say, Tamika, thanks for listening and being a part of our show. Um, and it was really good. Tim Lilienthal, who is my colleague from the Northeast region of Faith in Action, which is one of our parent organizations, did his training last night about wealth inequality and how race plays a factor in all that. And in 15 minutes, man, just broke this thing down, told his own story.
Mm.
He grew up in Hatboro, Pennsylvania, and actually just about 4 miles from me, where, he was in Hatboro, I was in Philly. Our experiences were vastly different growing up. Actually, mine probably more comfortable than his. And, just listening to him share, tell his story, talk about how race plays and the way the really ultra rich leverage white people, middle class, working class, poor white folk against black and brown folk and indigenous people.
Hmm.
So it was really a powerful piece. And then our civic engagement team went through this whole thing talking about all the ballot initiatives that are up on the election this cycle, because there are 4 statewide ballots initiatives that are up for election, and really explaining to people about what's happening with voter suppression, that the 15 policies that have been introduced into legislation in the state of Pennsylvania to basically try to roll back voting rights that have happened now in Texas. And well, Texas is still to be voted on, Georgia, but Florida just passed a whole bunch of these laws as well. So real concerns about that and what could potentially happen in the southern state of Pennsylvania. So we are, trying to get people prepared and ready to fight and do what we need to do. So it was
Wait a minute, wait. Uncle Tim said, though, the other night that Republicans are not interested in making voting more difficult for black people. He said, I'm going to try to remember the quote. So if I'm off a little bit, just understand I don't have it in front of me. He said, Republicans like to make voting easier and cheating harder. I think what he meant was Republicans like to make voting harder and cheating easier.
Yeah, so
if you're a Republican.
Let me just say that in the 2020 election,
I'm just saying,
the only people that have been charged with voter fraud thus far have been Republicans. They're all Republicans. Every single one of them that's been charged with voter fraud has been a Republican, including the lawyer from Florida, that went to Georgia. That went to Georgia and then came back to Florida to tell people how to register to vote in Georgia so that they could knock out Joe Ossoff and I always say his first name wrong. Senator Ossoff, and Senator Warnock, right? So he was one of them, but there were others that were, trying to pack the ballot. All the voter fraud happened on the side of the Republicans. Every single one, every single case, every single major case that I know about, Republican.
Wow, that's crazy. Well, so listen, you can check that conversation out the Bishop was just talking about. It's going to still be on the Power Interfaith Facebook page. Go check it out. Sounds like something that you want to see. I was double booked last night, so I could not attend. But something you talked about with the wealth piece and the wealth inequality that I've been wanting to talk about for a while. This story, I sent it to you this morning. So, again, I know we have a lot of, we'll talk about Devonta Smith coming to Philly and all that good stuff and all the big breaking news kind of things. But there is a story that happened about a week or maybe 2 weeks ago, and we couldn't really give it much attention because of all the other stuff with the Floyd trial, the Derek Chauvin trial and everything else. But I was kind of dumbfounded by the fact that of all the stuff you hear about Amazon as an employer and, people wanting better rights. I mean, look, the Academy Award gave the picture of the year to Nomadland. And if you watch that, it's about a white woman who's a migrant worker, and the modern migrant worker moves from Amazon plant to Amazon plant. Right. So because in this time of year, the Kansas City warehouse is hopping. That time of year, you move to it's like, dude, it is like, instead of following the development of trees and fruit, it's the new migrant experience. Right. So given kind of like the vested interest in wanting better wages, I was shocked that they did not vote for a union in the big Alabama plant, and that it was rejected by workers.
I'm not surprised by that at all.
Okay, help me. Because, again, just to the layperson, it seems like, hey, guys, ladies, if we unionize, we get more money. Hey, I'm just like, sign me up, bro.
Yeah, southern states in particular are vehemently anti-union. If you ever notice that the strongest parts of unions tend to be in either the West Coast, the extreme West Coast like California, or they're in the Northeast. Most of the Northeast states have strong union representation from D.C. all the way up there. And unions play a big part in local and state and federal politics in those particular locations. So it does not surprise me that Alabama, which actually has one of the worst reputations when it comes to unions, that it did not pass. I am sure, without a shadow of a doubt, that there were major intimidation campaigns initiated by Amazon to prevent the union from coming into place. As a matter of fact, the article talked about some of the ways that they were using that intimidation, threatening people, saying 75% of the workforce would be shut down, so forth and so on. And actually, that's really never the case. But unions, the business folk will tell the workers anything to prevent them from getting a union, because once they get a union, the restrictions go into place. I mean, one of the things that happened during the beginning of COVID, Amazon workers had to use the bathroom in their vehicles because a lot of places were closed. They could not stop and use it, and Amazon's very time sensitive.
They had to what?
Yeah, they were using jars inside their
all right, I'm sorry, even stopped to ask you. Please continue.
Yeah, so there was really no place for them to go because everything shut down. And so somebody had pointed that out. Amazon came back and fought it and said, no, that's not the case. And then they came back and said, oh, yeah, sorry about that. Yeah, because they couldn't stop. I mean, it made sense why they were doing it that way, but it was not, they were saying anything at that point to try to prevent people from, voting for this union to go in place. So it doesn't surprise me. Any southern state, because there's not deep monitoring in the same way in the state. The National Labor Relations Board was there for the vote count, but they were not there throughout the whole campaign, and that's really part of the challenge of all this. Besides the fact, Amazon also hired union busters to come in and break the union before it could really take root. So
union busters today are not like 100 years ago.
No,
100 years ago, union busters were like goons.
Yeah, no, they still go visit houses of employees and they let them know, it's not like they're beating people up to tell them not to do it, but they are saying things that would be intimidating. And what they do is they solicit people to tell them right then whether they're going to vote for the union or not. So of course people are afraid to say whether they're going to vote for the union. They'll say, oh no, I'm against the union. So, and if you're Amazon with billions of dollars, you don't mind spending $100 million or $2 million to fight a union.
And also what they'll do is, they'll say, well, man, listen, I think everybody should get a great wage, listen, more power to you. I'm just concerned that if it becomes too expensive for Amazon to stay, we won't be able to convince them, if the wages go up too much here, we won't be able to stop them from moving to Mississippi.
Right. That is part of the intimidation process. Absolutely.
Right. So, hey, whoa. I don't have a baseball bat in my hand. I'm not threatening you. We're just having a conversation about what might happen. For every action, there's a counter action. And I remember this. Remember when we first started talking about raising wages at the airport in that fight? That was like the first fight Power took on. And I will not call the elected official's name. And we sat at the table with this very powerful elected official in the southeast region of the state of Pennsylvania. And said elected official looked at us when we said, the wages at the airport are like people are making $3, $4 an hour in tip jobs. They can't ask for tips, though, the wheelchair pushers and the ramp workers. And, we just think they should make, I think at that time we were like, maybe it was like $10 to $12.
I think we're only shooting for like 10.25 or something like that.
It was like about a $15 million impact a year for the class of workers we were talking about. And the elected official looked at us and said, well, if we do that, American will move their hub to Pittsburgh. And I was like,
for real?
So I won't disclose it. I was like, dude/dudette, you really think American Airlines, at that time it was US Air. I said, do you really think US Air is going to pack up an entire operation?
Right. Or $15 million.
Somebody could steal $15 million from them and it would take them 20 years to find out.
Absolutely.
They don't want to set a precedent by paying in Philadelphia because then other people will pick up and just demand the same thing. So I understand that. But it is always this threat of, hey, we'll just move. And listen, elected officials have got to stand with the people. And, because if you keep making it easy for people to come in and just like get over on your folk, if you can do it in Philly, then I don't know, man. It's just we need more support in these positions. And so, power to the people down in Alabama. I brought it up because of this. They are taken to the neighbor to the National Labor Relations Board to
Yeah.
try to have that vote overturned because of what they are accusing Amazon of doing. They say that Amazon did use intimidation tactics and did things that they were not supposed to. In the past, in the recent past, this board has overturned, I understand, about 6 cases like this.
Right.
So it may not be over just yet for Alabama and this Amazon plant, but this has real repercussions for working people who are trying to get themselves out of poverty. We're talking about gun violence all the time. Well, in a city like ours, you can't tell me being the poorest big city in America doesn't have something to do with an uptick in gun violence when there's a downturn in money because of COVID-19 and a pandemic.
That's right.
Right? If you pay people a living wage, guess what? In those communities, those people don't go around killing each other all the time.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
It's a strange thing. Put money in somebody's pocket and they just stop killing each other.
Absolutely. I totally agree with you.
We should actually run a scientific experiment. Maybe Bill Gates can loan us a few billion. We want to see what happens in Philly for a year if everybody has a living wage and see if those murder numbers don't come down.
Well, big truth.
All right, we got to take a break. It's 6:22 in the morning, which is apparently our new break time, not 6:20. Sorry, Kwesa. You're probably like on the phone right now, like, I know, I can't get them off. Sorry. They just talk too much. And y'all wonder why we'll take calls. This is why. We'll be right back on the other side of the break. It's the Power Hour.
Hey everyone, it's Michelle Obama. Barack and I are so thrilled that we got our COVID-19 vaccine because this is a deadly disease, and this vaccine will protect us from getting really sick. Getting vaccinated is safe, and it could save your life and allow us to start getting back to seeing friends and family again. We can do this. To learn more, go to cdc.gov/coronavirus.
Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
The Black Words Book Club. WURD Radio's monthly conversation on books that explore the African American experience through social, economic, and environmental justice issues. Tune in the second Tuesday of every month on Evening Words with Nick Taliaferro, 4 p.m. till 7 p.m. The next book for May is Living in Color by Tommy Davidson. Be sure to listen live, as Nick Taliaferro will hold a contest for a giveaway book bundle that consists of 4 titles from Kensington's Defina's Authors of Color's newest release. Don't miss it. Tuesday, May 11th on Evening Words with Nick Taliaferro. Attention for WURD members. Get your copy and receive a 20% discount when you purchase at Harriet's Bookstore or Hakeem's Bookstore. For more information on the Black Words Book Club, visit wordradio.com. The Black Words Book Club is sponsored by Defina. Defina is an imprint of Kensington Publishing Corporation, America's independent publisher, concentrating on authors of color.
A Part of Me boutique, located 3834 Lancaster Avenue, sells men's and women's clothing, shoes, and beautiful accessories. Items can be ordered if not in the store. Check out our lovely one-of-a-kind chairs with reupholstered African fabric. A Part of Me is open Wednesday through Saturday from 11:30 to 6 p.m. You can expect friendly, professional service and unique finds. A Part of Me boutique, located 3834 Lancaster Avenue, sells men's and women's clothing, shoes, and beautiful accessories. Items can be ordered if not in the store. Check out our lovely one-of-a-kind chairs with reupholstered African fabric. A Part of Me is open Wednesday through Saturday from 11:30 to 6 p.m. You can expect friendly, professional service and unique finds.
Recovery starts with a call. Pennsylvania's Substance Use Disorder Hotline is staffed by real people who are trained to help. They're here 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. They'll get you or your loved one into treatment regardless of your access to insurance. If you or someone you know is suffering from addiction, call 1-800-662-HELP. Recovery starts with a call.
Paid for with Pennsylvania taxpayer dollars.
You're listening to WURD Radio, 96.1 FM and 900 AM WURD, independent black media.
Welcome back to the Power Hour. This is Dwayne Royster along with Mark Kelly Tyler. We're here Monday through Fridays from 6 a.m. to 7 a.m. to bring you the latest in news happenings around Philadelphia and, of course, our opinions. And we have plenty of them.
We have none.
You have no opinions?
No, no.
No, you just got
So
Johns. That's all it
I
is.
got John. This is my John right here. If you're not on Facebook Live, you'll know what we're talking about. See, or YouTube. Hey, Nikki O Tim on YouTube said that on Roland Martin's show that he actually brought in like 3 people to talk, and they said they rejected the union because it was not in their best interest. And I guess, if you think that your job is going to roll up and leave, if you vote yes, then it's not in your best interest. You know what I mean? And Denise James reminds us that in the South, a lot of times they use the language that these are right to work states. And I just want to say that Republicans, they have clearly won the war on branding because, I mean, they know how to, they really have become clever. Well, it's not clever. It's just who knew that you could just be so ruthless? Like in your attempt to like basically deny people the right to work in a place that pays a living wage, you call it the right to work, which really means the right to get screwed over. Just like in California back in the day, Ward Connerly led, the black guy, led the fight to end affirmative action in Cali in the UC school, UC system. Those are the most prestigious public colleges like UC Berkeley and Davis and UCLA. And he did it using the language of the movement. He called it the Civil Rights Initiative. So a lot of black folk voted for it. I'm like, civil rights? Of course I'm with that. And then it was like, yep, thank you. You're welcome. Just took your rights away.
And actually now I think there was a thing done not too long ago that UC system has the worst, one of the worst numbers of representation of people of color in the system.
And you can thank a black guy for it.
Yeah,
like Uncle Tim.
Well, I was getting ready to say, wait a minute. It was somebody pointed out that Jason Johnson said he was upset that people started calling.
I don't care what Jason Johnson thinks. He's not even. I'm like, Jason Johnson, seriously, bro, sit down on this one. Stay at Morgan State. Just keep that to yourself. I mean, don't nobody care that you think that we shouldn't be calling him. If you go out and act like Uncle Tom, you're going to get called Uncle Tom. It's like saying we shouldn't criticize Clarence Thomas. Are you crazy? I mean, that's a part of the reason that we're here. And I'm not, listen, within the movement space, there's tremendous difference of opinion. Like those of us who believe in defunding, on one side is complete abolition, no cops, no jails. On the other side, no, got to reform it, got to fix it. But we generally agree there is a problem. We just fight out about the, the methodology and what the end looks like. But I'm not going to disagree with somebody who's a strict abolitionist that this system ain't racist when it comes to policing and criminal justice. But to stand on national TV without any nuance, that was the problem 2 nights ago. Now, they're throwing people like Biden and Kamala Harris and others into like, well, do you think America's racist? It's like, come on, y'all. As an elected official, they can't just come out and say, yes. They've got to then but they have put nuance on it. Like there's institutional racism. There's lingering effects of Jim Crow and slavery, of course. So we're not saying individual people, hey, white man, I don't know, you're racist. It's not what people are talking about when they say it.
Right.
And that's not what he intended. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, it's cool. I mean, I get you. And the reality is, let me answer for the president and the vice president. Yes, America's racist. So thank you. I mean, I just wanted to answer for them. Let me speak for them for a moment. Yes, it's racist. And I mean, well, actually, this is funny because this is actually part of the conversation that we had last night with Power in the Political Education Symposium about the fact that there are no such thing as race-neutral policies in America. Policies, laws that are written in this country are not race-neutral. A lot of people are like, oh, there's equal protection under the law. Actually, there's not equal protection under the law if the law is not written with a race-neutral lens. Hence, I will talk about fair funding in the state of Pennsylvania. So a guy named David Mozankis, who is a member of Power, Germantown Jewish Center, did a study of the state education funding and discovered that with districts that have a preponderance of students of color, that would be Black, Latinx, that would, Asian Pacific Islander, Indigenous, biracial, there is an $1,800 per student difference between the money coming from the state to virtually all white districts and the money going to districts that have students of color, preponderance of students of color. $1,800. So you might say, well, that doesn't seem like a large sum of money. It is a large sum of money when you start adding up classrooms. If there's 30 students per classroom, you're now talking about almost $45,000 per classroom per year difference, which could be a teacher's aide, it could be materials that go in there, all kinds of things. Or when you start talking about a school full of classrooms of children of color, which could mean it'd be millions of dollars per year that could be going to a school to be able to support that school and school district in terms of being able to resource our children. So there's this problem, right? Now watch this. So we pointed this out 7 years ago, right? It was actually during the Corbett administration that this was first discovered. We brought it to the attention of the Wolf administration. Now, Governor Wolf now this year is really trying to make a major move. He's trying to add $1.5 billion to the K through 12 education budget and run 100% of the money that goes into K through 12 education through a funding formula that would virtually even out how much each district gets, right? So each district would be on a playing field together, and they would get equal amounts in front of that. Now, here's the thing. We've been trying to get folk to do this for years, and they have not been willing to do it because if they even it out, some of the white districts will get less money. Right. And so rather than say, well, we'll take some of the money from the white districts, they're like, well, we'll just let the black and brown districts suffer until we can figure out a better way to deal with this. There's no such thing as a race-neutral law or a race-neutral policy. And then not only is there not a race-neutral law or race-neutral policy, the application of how those laws are applied is manifest in a different way as well. For example, people getting pulled over by the cops in certain areas. So, there's all these implications to all that.
Well, I mean, listen, yes, and yes. So if we're talking about, like, are the elected officials who put that funding formula in place, do they just go around just randomly calling people the N-word, burning crosses on people's front yards, attending I don't know, like rallies of the Proud Boys down in Charlottesville? No. Some of them. I mean,
yeah, some of them do. That's true. Or the insurrection.
Right. So in Pennsylvania, some of you do, but not most, right? And so most would say, but I have never, and they're not lying. I've literally never said the N-word. My favorite athletes are black. My favorite comedians are black. My favorite people on TV.
Everybody likes getting entertained. Even the king had a court jester.
All right. And so they're like, so how can I be racist? It's like, listen, you're trying to run critical race theory out of schools when what you need to do is embrace it so that you can understand this. Right? Because the fact that, think about how stark the difference was on 2 nights ago. The president of the United States, an old white dude who had to have himself repeatedly transformed to get to where he is over these many years of his life, got up and said, the greatest threat to us as terrorism is not Al-Qaeda anymore. It's actually domestic-born white supremacists.
Absolutely.
The white president of these here United States said that. And then it's refuted by a black dude from South Carolina who gets up and says, ain't no racism in America. No, America's not a racist country. It's like, bro, come on, man. Morgan Freeman thinks that's laughable. Are you serious?
Are we sure it wasn't a clone? I just was curious. Was that a clone last night?
Listen, mind you, most of his speech leading up to that part was talking about how he's been mistreated as a black person, even since he's been in the Senate.
But he was talking about being mistreated by black people since he's been in the Senate, right? Which is why the reference to being
black people like us
as Uncle Tom, right? Because only black folk refer to other black folk as Uncle Tom. White folk don't do that.
Right.
That's not in their bailiwick, right?
And before somebody tells us, it was really Sambo who was the traitor, not Uncle Tom. He was the loyal one. We know, but it don't matter. I just talked about branding, didn't I, earlier, and the success of it? You're not going to stop people from calling black folk who sell out Uncle Toms, even though it don't make sense historically. We get it. But it's the power of branding. So, I mean, yeah, listen, bro, we can go on this all the time. Yeah, Robert Garland says that was fabulous. Biden learned so much from being second to a black man. That's exactly right. And although he's at the top of the ticket, he's second to a black woman right now, too.
Uh, I don't know. I mean, honestly, part of me is like I felt like Biden had a higher profile during the Obama years than Harris does right now with Biden.
Really? I don't know, man. He seems very intentional about like pushing her forward.
Well, he brings her everywhere where he is, but she doesn't say anything.
Yeah, well,
Biden always talks. Biden talks because he talks constantly.
Well, Barack Obama was a black dude. I keep telling you all the time. Don't I tell you this? You don't believe me. One day you're going to be like, damn it, Mark was right. Have a good white friend if you're black to vouch for you. You think I'm laughing?
No. I hear you. I've probably said that a few times myself. So.
Listen, if you and a white dude walked into a room and you're the white guy's boss, and the people walk out and they look at the two of you, they're going to ask the white guy, what do you guys need? He's like, I'm actually here with my boss. Oh, I'm sorry. So what do you need, Mr. Royster? It's Bishop. I'm sorry. Tell me, stop me when I'm lying.
I'm not saying anything.
Stop me when I'm lying.
I'm not saying you're lying about anything.
Get you a good white friend. I have several. And if I ever get in trouble, I'm going to go on FaceTime with them in the car and the police show up. I'm like, look, some of my white friends right now listening to this show are like, is that what this has been about, Mark?
I've been used.
No, it's just a residual, benefit of us being friends. I'll be on FaceTime like, officer, I was just talking to my friend. They're like, oh, okay, let me put my gun down. You didn't say you had white friends.
Well, unfortunately, there's a lot of truth in all that. There's just a lot of truth in all that.
It is so much truth wrapped in that sarcasm. It's not even funny.
No, it is.
I mean, it's just not even funny. I mean,
I agree.
So listen, there are some other things that happened that we probably should talk about. And we'll let other folk, if you want to hear about the Eagles draft, tune in tomorrow at 11 a.m. Chris Murray on WURD. I'm sure that's all he's going to talk about is the fact that Philadelphia traded up. And by the way, it seemed like almost half the entire first round came from Alabama. I'm like, Alabama's just like, every year they like send their entire starting lineup into the NFL and they come back and they just still beat everybody over the head. I don't know what they're doing in Alabama. Maybe it's because they don't have a union.
Could be. They just working them. Never mind. I'm not going to say. I was getting ready to say something I know I'm going to get in trouble for. So never mind.
Working them like sailboats. Yeah.
I'm just saying. I mean, have you ever heard the Alabama coach talk?
Roll Tide. No,
look, waiting for him to come up with a horse and a whip in his side. But anyway.
Much respect to Alabama. I honestly don't know how they do that. This is one day we're going to look back over history and we'll say that was probably one of the greatest periods of time in any college football's program. You've seen it before in the 60s and in the 70s, but at that time it was less competitive. There were only a few programs that had that kind of money that could retool. In today's world, it's like everybody can do what they do with recruiting and all that. And somehow, man, they just they're there every year. Every year they are right there contending. Nick Saban, I don't know. I know he's probably happy he washed out in the NFL because that didn't work well. But, man, he has a home in college football for life. Let me say before we go to break, don't forget tomorrow is Black Bikers Vote. We've been talking a lot about the need to be civically engaged. Shout out to Power Interfaith that is sponsoring this. Kendra, we're going to have voting locations. This is the last weekend to register for the May primary. I think you have until the 3rd to do so. And so we want to make sure that people in low propensity voting neighborhoods know the importance of voting. That's why we are taking more than 100 motorcycles tomorrow through these neighborhoods. Michael Cord is riding. Attorney Michael Cord. Reverend Alan Waller is riding.
Oh, okay. I wasn't sure he was going to be there. Okay.
He changed his plans. When I gave him the date, he's like, oh, Mark, I can't, but y'all can end it, Enon. He texted me yesterday and said, yo, bruh, I'm in.
Right. All right.
Reverend Lonnie Herndon, pastor of Church of Christian Compassion. We'll start at his church, ride up to Enon through all of the city, and he's riding. I've spoken to the Africa family, to Pam Africa, spoken to the neighbors on Osage, and the ride, since we're at Christian Compassion, is going to start by going silently through the neighborhood, 6200 block of Osage.
A couple hundred bikes is not going to be silent. I just want to say that.
Well, as quiet as we can, but we want to show respect.
I understand.
And then we're going to motor through. Now, somebody out there is a member of Keith Reed's church, Bishop Reed. He rode with us last time. I had not been able to reach him. Send him a message. Tell him, Bishop Reed, they need you to ride again. Man, he loves riding. He loves riding. So it's going to be a great day. So again, shout out to everybody that's, planning on coming up and being a part of it. The weather is supposed to be perfect tomorrow. And we're going to go through 4 or 5 different locations that Power is set up that'll be doing voter registration tomorrow. Mount Pisgah AME, St. Paul's Baptist, First United Methodist Church in Germantown, and blanking on the Mosaic Community Church in West Philly. We're going to pass a lot of the places that were impacted and during the uprising of last year as well, to try to lift them up. We got to take a quick break. This is the Power Hour, and when we come back, we will finish up this week. Hey, we got him. We got him.
You got him?
We got him. We got the dog kidnappers from Lady Gaga.
Oh, geez.
We ain't found who killed Biggie yet, but we got him.
We got the dog nappers.
Yep.
Don't know who killed Tupac, but we
got them dog nappers. We will not let a dog get kidnapped. And by the way, we know they shot somebody too, but more importantly, the dogs are safe, and we got the dog nappers.
That's right.
This is the Power Hour. Don't go anywhere.
Spring forward to throwback. All this month, when you start or renew your Forward membership, you'll get exclusive Word throwback swag, vintage backpacks, books, and tees. While supplies last. Offer ends April 30th. Sow seeds into Black Talk Media and grow with us. Visit wordradio.com/join now to start or renew today.
Hi, this is John.
Hi, this is Juanita, owners of JD's Auto Body and Painting. We're located at 6300 Wayne Avenue, right there at the intersection of Wayne and Washington Lane.
We really like to thank all you WURD listeners for the support that you've given our business, and we really hope to see you in the future.
JD, tell them about our products and services we have.
We have a new state-of-the-art paint shop along with our body shop and detail shop. We can help you with the dents and scratches from the winter season.
Come to JD's Auto Body and Painting. Come on out and check us out. We're still honoring that WURD 10% discount. Give us a call, 215-848-5949. Again, 215-848-5949.
Thanks again for supporting our business. We really appreciate you.
See you at JD's Auto Body and Painting.
Tired of doom scrolling? Discover a new way to social distance with Philadelphia's own Curtis Institute of Music. This spring, Curtis presents more than 24 free virtual concerts. From virtuosic solos to premieres of new orchestra music, the Curtis Institute cultivates world-class artists right here in Philly. Explore thrilling performances delivered straight to your inbox. See, hear, and feel the power of world-class performances by a new generation of musical legends. Join www.curtis.edu/performances.
From safe to seamless, convenient to contactless, and local to express, SEPTA is the Philly way to go. Plan your trip at iseptaphilly.com.
Now, a traffic update
on WURD Radio.
Good morning. This report sponsored by Audible. Looking at Savali Building, Schuylkill eastbound, South Street to University, westbound University through South Little on that same stretch. The Vine Expressway, westbound Lake Parkway through the Schuylkill Expressway. Southbound 95, already heavy Cotman down through Bridge. Again, Allegheny through Girard. Northbound looks pretty good. Southbound Boulevard, Route 1, Savali there. Broad down to Fox through that construction. 55 northbound Deptford into 42, getting a bit busy there now. Give spring a whole new sound with Audible Plus. Listen all you want to thousands of select Audible originals, audiobooks, and podcasts, including exclusive series. Start a free 30-day Audible Plus trial when you sign up at audible.com. For more traffic information, log on to sigalert.com. Jim Bachman with your Philadelphia area traffic.
Now, a WURD weather update. Here's NBC 10 First Alert meteorologist Bill Henley.
A windy day today. Partly sunny skies, 67 this afternoon, but increasing wind this afternoon could cause damage. Wind gusts of 50 to 60 miles an hour are possible. Breezy Saturday, 42 the low, up to 66 in the afternoon, with lots of sunshine. Turning partly sunny on Sunday, up to 82 degrees. I'm NBC 10 First Alert meteorologist Bill Henley.
You're listening to WURD Radio, 96.1 FM and 900 AM WURD, independent black media.
Welcome back to the Power Hour. Dwayne Royster, Mark Kelly Tyler, Monday through Friday, 6 a.m. to 7 a.m. All right, we're in the last segment for the week this week, and it's been a week that has been dreadfully interesting. Dreadfully interesting, I think it's the best way to say it. How would you define it?
This week?
Yeah.
Thank God it's Friday. I mean, and Friday means nothing to me and you because we pastor. And so that means this is Wednesday for us. Yep. See, all of you all get to go to, you hang out late tonight. And it's like, whoa, I ain't got to do nothing until Monday. We have a sermon hanging over our head like a dark impending cloud.
I have another show tonight to do. So.
Oh, man, then there's that.
That's right.
Yeah. But I mean, but it has been a very, very interesting week. And, I'm grateful for the show, for the opportunity for us to really kind of process a lot of what's going on as well. Glad to see so many of you all on YouTube as well. You all are very active over there. Not as active today as Facebook. By the way, please bring civility back into the chat, or we don't want to have to block some of you from the chat. But I mean, seriously, when some of this is rising to an unhealthy level of discourse. So please just let those words fall where they may. Yeah. So in Los Angeles, bro. Yeah. First of all, this Lady Gaga story really should be about the story of a dog walker who was shot while doing his job. But he's always the afterthought in the story. He was doing it, and I get that she is a huge celebrity. And I get that means that anything attached to her, including her dogs, has an elevated importance.
That's right. But,
I mean, this just reinforces all the problems that we have with law enforcement today, does it not? I mean, it's like in a city like LA, which experiences so much gang violence and so many murders and so many shootings, and so many of them go unsolved. It's like they don't even try. Maybe they do, but the impression from the community is y'all don't care. It's just us killing each other, and you don't really care. But the moment a celebrity's dogs get dog-napped, it's like Beverly Hills Cop Part 4. Like you called Eddie Murphy in, he got the gang together, Lieutenant is back, those two nutty guys with them. And we're going to crack this doggone case. Ooh, no pun intended. We're going to crack this case. And I mean, they go out and they actually arrest 5 people in connection. But as you listen to the media as it's reported, it is always about Lady Gaga first, her picture, and then a little cute picture of her dogs who were never hurt and returned. It's like, and by the way, this all started because somebody got shot. But I mean, he ain't nobody. He's probably making minimum wage, walking her dogs. Yeah. You can find dog nappers. Really?
Yep.
Really?
It's a thing, with folk and their dogs. I
mean, dude, in this week, Alameda County, my home county in Alameda, another guy got the combination of George Floyd and Walter Wallace.
Yep.
Guy with mental health issues, and they sat on him until he died. I mean, Mexican-American guy.
Well, wasn't the dog walker Latino?
Probably, given the fact that we don't know anything about him. I don't know. But I'm just saying.
Yeah.
But it's just, it's so frustrating because, again, this is what we're always talking about, the whole idea of Black Lives Matter. And when people initially start talking about, but all lives matter. No, we get that. We know white lives matter. Even white dogs' lives matter. You know why we know? Because don't try to kidnap Lady Gaga's dogs or you will get caught and brought to justice. So we know that your life matters. There's no debate about it. The question is, do our lives matter?
Right. Well, they don't matter to many people. I mean, I always think back to, first of all, I stand corrected. I don't think he was Latino. But, I remember what was the quarterback in Philly that came from Atlanta? Mike Vick, right? Mike Vick served all this time and was banned from the NFL, had to pay back millions of dollars for dogfighting. But we have had NFL players that have, been rapists. They have been, charged with all other kinds of things. Nothing ever happens. The way we treat. We've had, there was the Eagles player one year that was at the country western concert cussing and calling black people at the N-word.
Yeah.
Nothing happened.
Yeah,
right, got to stay. I mean,
Riley.
No big deal, right? That was fine. But Mike Vick, because he was dogfighting. Now, I'm not saying he should have been dogfighting, but no, nevertheless, this is how we treat black people versus how we treat white people in the same condition. So
he also paid his dues. So listen. But now. We probably don't have time to talk about this, some of our lives mattering. There was a troubling story, that there was a killing that happened in Philly that I think shocked everybody. The young man got released from State Road from jail, bailed out, and before his parents could arrive to pick him up while waiting at the bus stop at I think 1 or 2 in the morning, someone killed him. He was being chased by a car from the bus stop, and he ran back tried to get into the jail, and nobody was at the guard station, and he was killed. And I think we were all stunned by the brazenness of it. So they have arrested a 16-year-old for that murder and for 3 others in Philly. 16-year-old. Now he stands accused. He is not convicted, and so it is simply that he is an accused murderer. But if this bears out, and this is true, at 16, and these murders were all 2 were together, and then the other 2 were separate incidents. So 3 separate occasions that left 4 people dead, according to the DA's office and the police department, in the case they're building against him. That's, man, I don't even know what you say about that at 16.
Something went vastly wrong somewhere along the line. And, I don't know what it is. I don't know all the situation, but at that age, if you are that able to be that brazen and to do that level, something went really wrong. And it wasn't just the individual, it was something more than that. So it's the systems, right? I go back to what Mayor Lori Lightfoot said in the situation of Adam Toledo, right? It wasn't just everybody failed him with Markia Bryant in where's Markia? In Columbus, Ohio. Everybody failed her. And for this 16-year-old boy, somewhere along the line, folk failed him. Or failed her. I don't know if it's a boy or girl, but they failed, right? We're failing our children. That's ultimately what it comes down to. We're failing them. Adults are failing them. Systems are failing them. They're being failed on every end.
So, yeah, it's I don't know, it really puts us in a I like to say like a trick bag, right? So those of us who, you elect DAs, and one of the things that we say is don't try children like adults, right? And then you get confronted with this. And I don't honestly, I will just simply say that I'm really deeply troubled about this. This is not, if this all bears out, this is not like a one-time thing that happens in the heat of the moment. This is not what happened with 16-year-old Ma'Khia Bryant, that you can obviously tell that is passion, that is not justifying anything, but that is a different experience than someone plotting and planning to go around murdering people, whether it's for money or whether it's retaliation or whether it's gang involved. And, do you throw that person, if he is found guilty, into juvie and then let them out at 18 or not? And even for those of us who are reform minded, that is it's a very, very challenging story. And I'm sorry I even brought it up knowing we don't have enough time to unpack it. Maybe we can bring someone on next week to talk about it and how you deal with, juveniles who have this level of volatility. Again, if this turns out to be true, I want to emphasize that right now he gets all the benefit of everyone else, that he is assumed to be innocent, but that he is facing some very serious charges.
Yes, absolutely. All right. Well, listen, everybody, that's a wrap for us for this week. We appreciate each and every one of you that have listened to us this week, whether it's on the air, or whether you're listening to us on Facebook, YouTube, all the different mediums that you're able to check us out. We appreciate you. Thank you, Dr. Tyler, for doing what you do. Thank you for Koisa for giving us the weather, the traffic, and holding down the boards each and every day. We appreciate you as well. Listen, family, stay tuned for Wake Up with Word with Solomon Jones. We'll be back Monday morning, 6 a.m. to 7 a.m. to bring you the latest in news, happenings around Philadelphia, and, of course, our opinions. And I'll be back today at 5 o'clock with Solutions on Word with Amadi Braxton. Listen, everybody, go out, change the damn world, because if you don't, nobody else will. Peace.
Oh, I got eyes in the back of my